My dad said something to me so important driving the other day. He said, Jason, always remember this, right? And my dad is just a hardworking dude. He didn't own a bunch of businesses, but this was so wise. He said, no matter what you do in life, 50% of the people are going to try to take you out as soon as you turn your back. And 50% of the people will actually be cheering for you.
All right, welcome back to Unlock Your Mind. I'm Andre Pennington with my co-host Jason Beauvais. We're going to gut punch you today. We're going to talk about the reality of leveling up. What you got for me?
Oh, man. I'm excited about this one today. I know it's kind of not counterproductive to the actual to the title of it, but I think this is very, very important. I think a lot of people, they have goals and dreams and aspirations, and they're going to go after something. And I don't think this is talked about enough, about the fact that when you start leveling up, the reality is that inner circle. They talk about the crabs in the bucket, right? You try to start leveling out of that bucket, they're going to try to grab you back down. But really talking about some examples that happened to us a little bit, and really making them understand, like, when you level up, bro, you're going to make some people jealous. You're going to make some people self-conscious. You're going to make people fear. You're going to see everything about people that are in your circle. But it is going to happen. You're going to have these things hit you as you level up. It's 1,000%. So I just think, I want to spend some time on that, get a little direct on it. I'll give something quickly. As I started to level up, I had, whether it was family, whether it was really close friends, the group that I was hanging out with 10 years ago, I don't associate with any of them anymore. And those are my boys, bro. We went out every weekend. We did this stuff, and I got told, oh, you're selling out. Why are you doing this? And all this stuff. And, oh, you're becoming a yes man. People close to me, my brother, he'll be fine with this, right? He used to tell me for 5 years, are you going to those yes man conferences? Are they shooting rockets out of the sky? And I'll be honest, dude, like I'm sitting here today, I'm freaking confident, but it's my brother. It bothered me. It's here to say it didn't put a little chink in, like, this is my big bro, dude. And I'm like, I get it one time, but bro, it was going on for like 5 years, right? And dude, honestly, we're brothers, so we talk shit back and forth a little bit, have a little fun. But it did chink me for a minute, and I'm like, dude, do I tap into that and start second guessing myself? Am I going, or do I say, hey, dude, like, he just doesn't get it yet. He'll get it one day. He just don't get it yet. And then boom, now you see Brandon now. He's like, oh, I love entrepreneurship. Everything's great. So you see the end result. But like, that's one quick example of someone in family.
Well, what did you do in that time?
Honestly, right? Do you want to know the honest truth?
Yes.
Like, straight up, I was like, fuck you, bro. You can bleep that out. But I was like, fuck you, man. Like, I know what I saw, just because you can't get it. And I trained my mind that if someone didn't see my vision, I was like, you're out. Like not out of my life, but like, you're out. I don't take thoughts for you no more. But that was my initial reaction. Like, dude, F you, bro. Like, you don't think I'm smart enough to understand what I'm going for? Like, you're not going to back me up? All right, cool. You'll see. And that's what I just kept doing. So I would go, and if people would back me up and do stuff, I would entertain that ideology. But bro, like, when I say I lost all my boys, like, bro, I hung out with them every weekend, dude. Dre, like, all my boys.
Right.
Like, think about it. I want you to think right now, how many of your boys, when you were, I mean, even to say entrepreneurship, I know we go back to, but when you start entrepreneurship, there was a group of people around you. How many of you kicking with it every day right now?
0.
But we sit here now, like, it feels like a part of it, but it's hard in the moment you're doing it, because you want them to win, you want them to see what you're doing. But like, how did you? Was yours kind of the same mentality, or what was that? Was to him is exactly. But what was your kind of take when people weren't like seeing your vision or what you want to do? What was your thought?
It's funny you said that, because I've had several iterations of this.
Yes.
Because I've reinvented myself several times throughout my life.
That's a key word. You have to reinvent yourself. Stick to that word. So reinvent yourself. Go ahead.
Right. So when you're leveling up, you're doing something new. Your mindset's increasing. You understand more, and each time it's the same thing. My first time was deciding to go to school.
Yep.
Right. And I handled it the exact same way.
Yes.
There were 3. I came out excited, and 3 distinct times I remember thinking, yeah, fuck that dude.
Yep.
I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So we're on to something there.
Yep.
Right? Because I think that's where most people, they get that negativity, and then it's comfortable to fall back, right? I want it to be comfortable again, even if it's dysfunctional,
Yes. No, fact.
right? So, and now I'm thinking like, okay, now I've had several iterations. What's the last one look like? The last one was I see it coming. I understand it's going to happen. So my mind's already geared for it.
Good.
And then I start looking for where's it going to happen.
Yep.
And there, we mentioned one of the big level ups. I lost 4 people from my law office
Yes.
within 2 weeks, right? But the way I interpret it now is, well, yeah, I wouldn't want to be around me either if I was losing.
Yes.
That is a painful way to lose,
Yes.
to watch somebody skyrocket into the sky,
Yes.
realizing I could have done the same thing. So what I do is I try and think about it logical now. And I say, you know what? Everybody's going to their highest and best,
Yes.
right? But I can't let somebody else tell me that they're telling me that I can't do it because they believe they can't do it. And it's
So
more
good.
comfortable when I can't do it with them as well.
Yes.
So what I do is I just make the distinction. Well, they're telling me about how they feel about themselves. I already know where I'm going, but I do use it as fuel, right? So the original one is a lot of energy, right?
Yep. Yep.
Now, and I use that as fuel to drive me forward. Now when it happens, it's very subtle, but the results are so immediate. I can rely on those.
Dude, it's so important you said this. So we had a big one this year, right? Right. And shifting insurance companies, things that we did. And in that one, so that the first one you got today, you're right, is that was 10 years ago. First reaction, it is energized because you want people to believe, like then you take it personal. Like you don't think I'm smart enough to handle it. Like, so there's a little more energy charge in it. But as you evolve 10 years later, this last one, I said, man, you just lost out on the biggest thing in your life.
Yes.
So now I feel sorry for them.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, before I was like, I want to take you out. You can't believe you're not doing it. But now I'm like, man, your growth is so behind the curve that you just lost the biggest asset in your life. So over time, like you said, it's not as much energy. It's not emotionally charged as much anymore. It's different. But every time that when I say level up, man, it could be anything in your life, right? Like whatever you're trying to do. Let's talk business today. You move up in a promotion if you're in a company, right? You make more income than you ever made in your life. All these things that you do are going to threaten the ecosystem that you're currently in. So if you're in an ecosystem that is a $50,000 a year ecosystem, most of the people you hang out with are 50,000, and you go make $100,000 doing your bid, they're gonna be like, oh. My dad said something so important driving the other day. He said, Jason, always remember this, right? And my dad is just a hardworking dude. He didn't own a bunch of businesses, but this was so wise. He said, no matter what you do in life, 50% of the people are going to try to take you out as soon as you turn your back. And 50% of the people will actually be cheering for you. He's like, don't ever forget that. You know, and my dad worked for a pretty prominent dude here,
Right.
billionaire, and he used to like just study and watch. And he's like, bro, it don't matter where you get in this life. No matter what you're doing, even if they're smiling in your face, 50% of people are trying to take you out all day long, every day. Discern who's who in your circle and figure that out. And then 50% of people, you know, they're cheering you on, right? Maybe from there. But so if you go from a 50, you're there, then you're in the $100,000 group and you make $200,000. So 50-50 rule, right? You got to drop 50% of your people because they're not looking out. Then then the big jump happens when you're hanging around people making maybe 250 and then you make $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, so you can't, whether it's money or where your brain's going, you can't, the associations start to get harder to be around because you're going where you're going and they're not moving at that pace. But you got to be okay with letting people fall off to where they're supposed to fall in your life. Some people are just supposed to be in your family. That's it. Like you see them at a social event, you go to Christmas and you hug them and you love them. And that's it. Some people are supposed to be people that are advocates in your ear.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as you level up, I think people think they're going to just have the whole thing go with them, right? Like they're going to have everyone, and that's what you hope for. Let's be real. When you're starting out, you're hoping they're like, oh my God, everyone's going to get it, and we're all going to rise together. You think that's
you actually expect it to happen.
Yes.
That's why it's so offensive, right? Like, and that's when I look back on it. Let's talk to people that are right there.
Yes.
Right. As you're coming up, of course you're excited, right? Like for me, I'm relating back. It's like God put something in my heart, a fire, and it had to get out. I had no choice but to go for it. Like, it was that strong. And then when people tell you you can't do it and start telling you all the reasons, it's a very like base, I'm angry at you saying that. You've hurt me. Actually, that hurts me. And it's easier to feel angry than feel the pain, right? But then it comes out in anger, but you've got to make it through that stage, right? And I'm not going to sit and say, oh, I do it different now, so you should do it different. But that's the part where you push forward. The more no's you hear, the more people taking notice that you're doing something different, that's actually your sign that you're doing it correctly.
Hey, Dre, but here's something. Think about this. The only way we were able to do it, and this is a good tip for everyone, and I know you have to do this. You have to stop giving a shit what everyone thinks.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the only way to level up, actually, like, I'm thinking of a tangible thing I can give someone today. You have to literally not care, even good and bad, even when you get some good advice. Like when they try to give you all your flowers all the time. Oh, you're the greatest. Oh, my
yeah.
God. You're like, okay, don't get too caught up in that either, because then you go down that road. That's disastrous. But you have to really, to level up, you have to honestly get your brain to understand. And I say, when I was saying to my brother, like, F you, man, like in my brain, I'm saying, like, I don't care what you think right now. What I believe in my soul, what is burning inside of me is more important and stronger than what you're going to say. It is the only way to level. I've watched you. I've been around you now for years. And that is something you've always been very good at. Like not that we don't, you still listen to see if there's constructive criticism we could take.
Of course.
I'm not saying that, but you have to, if it doesn't align with what you are trying to accomplish, and it's something that's constructive criticism towards what you're trying to accomplish, good. Negative energy just for no reason because people are projecting on you. You have to learn how to stop letting people control your mind and let them start to influence what you're going to do and not do. And I think that's a big thing of leveling up. You have to be powerful enough to sit there and just take the shit sandwich that's coming at you for a second and then be like, okay, boom, I'm not listening to that. I'm moving where I got to keep going. But more people get knocked off because they care what people think.
Exactly.
They honestly care what they think. Bro, I've been clowned on. You hear it, we hear it all the time. Look at this guy. He's always wearing hoodies. He doesn't dress nice. He's running around. He's all over the place. He's crazy. I'm like, bitch, I'm kicking your ass while you're talking all this crap. I don't care. And then I'm you have to take that one out too.
Hey, we're getting real in this
yeah,
bitch.
because dude, I'm just saying, like, man, like, I know that God, I'm looking in people's eyes every day. Me and you are doing the same thing, bro. We're seeing them and we're looking in their eyes and we see the little glimmer, like, that they want it. And then we come back a month later and they're defeated. And I'm like, what you let people, like, we're telling them to their face, right, guys? You better get in our ecosystem. I'm telling you, if you're not in our ecosystem in 2025 and you keep falling around all these ass clowns, you're going to be freaking sitting at the end of 25 the same way you were, right? But I'm telling you right now, you got to get, if someone tells you that is winning, that they see something in you and you just got to pull it out, you need to start listening. That's another way to level up. Start listening to people that are like, you know what? I see this talent in you. Like, this is who you are. I can see it. Go get it. And then we get home and we're all, for 2 seconds, we're fired up. We get home, someone says something to us, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a friend, and then they try to reignite the old thinking in your brain. And then you go right back into that. And then I see you a month later and I'm like, why are you in the same spot? Why you keep listening to them? You think, and then we hear this, oh, they tell everybody that. They tell everyone that. No, we tell you specifically what we see in you because we believe that God put a gift in everybody. Now, I don't know everyone else out there what they're telling you, but we believe in our soul that everyone has a gift. Now, are you going to unlock it? Right? We challenge everyone around us to step into that moment. But I think getting back on topic real quick is you have to get the mindset of not care what people think. Otherwise, you will never level up. It's literally, the two are like clashing each other. If you keep caring what people think. Now, if someone that you're looking up to is mentoring you or giving you some advice, you want to hear what they're saying. But I'm talking those negative voices. And bro, there's so many more negative voices around you and in your own head. You got to start building those positive voices to level up and get around the people that will help you push that.
So it brought up a thought. I agree with all of that. But the other thought is the beginning stages is more about letting go.
Yes.
Than doing things.
Yes.
Right? You got to let go of old behaviors, old habits, those tracks that are playing in your mind. And especially if they're coming from other people.
Yes.
Right? And that's the battle. That's the first journey. Letting go. The person I was before has to die. And a new one is born out of those ashes.
Ooh.
Right? With new ways of thinking. right? So as you level up, like I know a lot of people get offended that I don't want to sit and talk to them because they don't know what my day,
Yes.
what I do all day long,
Yep.
right? But I don't, all my little text thread buddies, like I don't have time to shoot a stupid text talking about nothing anymore,
Yep.
right? I don't have time to just call on the phone and waste 15 minutes when it's not towards my goals. And I have to understand that that was going to change relationships. There's nothing wrong with somebody saying, hey, Andre's not putting into this as much as he was, so I'm not going to do this or that other, or that thing other, or what am I trying to say?
You're not going to reciprocate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the natural course of things, right? And I have to understand that, and have my fortitude to understand, like, you're still doing the right thing, right? It doesn't matter what is happening around in your old circle. Now, keep in mind, I'm giving opportunities to everyone,
All day, every day.
right? But that's a double-edged sword as well, because as people see you ascend in an opportunity that they were offered, don't think it's not in the back of their mind, right? That's also a threatening thing to see,
Yep.
right? He said he was going to do it. He said I could do it with him. Now he's doing it, and I'm doing the same thing,
Yep.
right?
Because
So
they didn't level up to meet the
they
one that
didn't
was there.
level up. Or, you know what? Everybody has a different journey. Maybe it just wasn't for
That
them,
yes.
right? But my point is, your circle is going to be disrupted by your growth. And if you're doing it correctly, that is constant.
And it's supposed to happen.
And it's supposed to happen. And then you find the ways that it fits in along the way, right? But that's what makes people stop. So don't let that first hurdle trip you up. Right now, in your mind, fortitude it, and make a fortress around it of safety, and say, okay, I know what my goal is. The more people that I hear that try and pull me back, that means I'm doing something.
Yes.
That's the right sign, right? And once you break through that piece, I would love to tell you that it gets easier. But then you're in a new spot that's uncomfortable,
That does it again.
and you will figure it out.
And I'll say this real quick, and I'll end on this for me today. So I just go back to when I was, I was at working at University of Phoenix. I was getting ready to leave. We were making about $100,000 a year, give or take, right around there. And I remember going to my dad, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm going after this entrepreneurship journey." Now, the reality is, I wasn't making a killing, but I was making enough to get by, right? And I wasn't, even when I left, I wasn't making $100,000 yet. Right? I didn't replace what I had there. I was on my way, and maybe in a month I made $8,000 or something. But hadn't been 12 months yet. And I remember going to him and I was like, "Hey, Pops, I'm going for it." And he said, "Hey, dude, I think it's a bad decision. I don't think this is the right decision at this moment. You got 4 kids. You have medical insurance here. What are you going to do?" But I was so convicted. And here's the reality. Sometimes people, like, he was scared. He has lived his life one way so long of going to work and the paycheck that he was nervous. Like, they project their own stuff. And he was like, "Oh my God, there's no way I could do this." So he got nervous. So sometimes people are just, they only know their lens, like you just said, and they might be close to you. So I'm not saying you go be a dick to everyone and blow everybody out of here. I'm not saying that, what I'm doing in your mind. So I look back now, and you know this, we're able to, my dad's retired now. We're able to, send him some money every month to make sure that they can stay retired. And I know you're dealing with their mother-in-law. There's like people that we've been able to do this for in our life. And I'm like, what if I would have listened? What if I wasn't convicted enough at that moment to know what I wanted? And I would have said, "You know what, Pops, you're right. I'm going to go back." First of all, that's like a freaking nightmare every night, right? That'd be a nightmare of my life, right? But I look back and I say, you know what? He's a good man, and he was only projecting what he thought. That was a test for me at that moment. Do you really believe in what you got? Because my dad and me are close. Like, his word meant stuff to me. Like, it means a lot to me when he tells me something. And I said, "Pops, you're not correct on this." Like, and then I told him, "Bro, you like birthed me. Like I'm in your bloodline. You don't think I can get this done?" And then I went back into that psychopathic mode again, right? But I was like, but anyway, like, I think sometimes you got to run around and be like disrespectful to your inner circle. You just you have to understand it and then go where they're at. And I will tell you this though, there will be a few, right? My dad's one of our biggest cheerleaders now. Like, there will be a few that eventually see it down the road. But I never was like, okay, I'm gonna keep winning. Eventually, they're gonna see it. When I left and I changed my mind and kept leveling up, whoever's gonna get it is gonna get it. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. And if I see one of my boys from back in the day, we're somewhere and I see him somewhere, I'm gonna say what's up, hug him and everything. I'm not like gonna be like, oh, you're a loser. No, it's not. You don't gotta be like that. Just know, like, that they're probably looking at you thinking, man, I wish I would have maybe done this or done this better. Everyone lives their own life, but just for you to level up, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You got to be okay with understanding that God's going to place different people in your life. Bro, you just, and I'll say this in my final word, promise, that you said, I don't text back and forth about stuff just randomly. You know, I know people be sending pictures of all types of stuff that's going on. But I was just thinking, I don't think in our whole relationship we've ever sent like a stupid thing to each other. It's always been about growing. And I'm just thinking this. As you said, I was like, holy shit. I'm thinking the whole time that we've been together, like when we text each other, we'll ask how our families are doing. I get that's like, but like, it's always driven. I think the last thing I sent you was a thing of Grant Cardone talking about how to use other people's money and everything else. And we're always doing stuff to keep moving our minds to where we're trying to go next. I don't think I've ever got a meme from you on some stupid thing of like some rooster eating a cat or some shit. I don't know what's even going on.
I don't have time for it.
But I'm saying, like, we don't. But see, people think that what's wrong? Oh, you don't like to have fun. Oh, we have a lot of fun. It was fun sitting courtside when my son was like kicked in the face with the thing. Like we have fun. It's just what is that even like? Fun to us is dominating and winning at stuff in our life and everywhere. Chat like
and
that's
experiencing
fun.
life on a level consistently that most people only dream about.
Yeah. And here's a couple things. I'm just gonna say this and we'll end here. This is what leveling up does for you. Okay. This dude, right? I laugh because dude, every time I say this first, my brain goes, oh my God, I was sitting next to him in a little baby office. You had your little tiny office with your little Star Wars characters. And we were just, this was only a few years ago. This is how fast it moves when you lock your brain in, right? It's only been a couple years. This isn't 10, 15 years ago I saw you. No, it was a few years that all this has happened. Think about it. There's a lot of hard work that planting, laying the bricks. But dude, the explosion in the last couple of years has been outrageous, right? But here's the thing. I watched you sit there, then I watched you move upstairs. I watched everything go in your law firm. Then I saw you get tied into the insurance industry, financial services, and now you have the wealth management, all this stuff. And I'm like, did I hear that you have like a chef in your house? You got a chef in your house, dude. We went down, Shane and Tracy, her son, we went and ate his food one time, and you have a chef, bro. Like, you have a chef. I don't know how many chefs were in the neighborhood when you were going through some foster care and I running around as a kid, but like, that's it. And then last night I told you, I was like, man, I'm getting my haircut. I got 5,000 kids, bro. And I'm sitting at the barber shop and I'm sitting there going like, God dang, this takes me forever to get all these haircuts. And my boy, Jay's been cutting my hair forever. I love him to death. I said, bro, how much would it cost for, like, what do you make on the Saturdays? He's like, I make about a G. I was like, you're telling me if I pay you $1,000 a month, you get all your time back. You come cut my kid's hair once a week and just cut my hair and nobody else's?
At your house.
Come to my house and cut it. And he's like, yeah. He's like, are you serious? I was like, absolutely. Like, you know how much time you'd save me to cut him? I could be doing stuff in between you cutting their hair. I could be with my wife. Like, and he's like, dude, I said, yeah, come over like on a Wednesday, dude. Just cut him once a week in the middle of the week. I said, we'd be looking. But my point is like, because we just kept leveling up, like that's a real thing. Like you said, you start to experience stuff. I called you a week and a half ago maybe and said, hey, Jenna mentioned something about going to Napa for the birthday for our wives. They're all in the same birthday. Like, do you want to go? And you're like, yeah, let's go on a Friday. Let's just go to Napa. Like my point is, listen, I'm saying a couple things so you guys can start to understand, like right now, what you're thinking today, they always say when you get there, it's going to be better than you could ever imagine. You can't even, we are trying to articulate certain things because it's crazy. Go ahead. Yeah.
I can only imagine what some of the viewers and listeners are thinking, right, as you hear that. But I'm translating it in my mind like, yeah, that time to drive there and drive back and to sit there
for so many
at that place, you're losing money doing that if you do it that way.
Bro, I'm losing so much money. And on top of that, I'm like sitting there going like, and he cuts good hair. He takes like 30 minutes per kid. Like, you don't mess around. Like, I'm like, yeah, I love you, but you take forever. I mean, he's good. I mean, it's good, but he's not like going to Great Clips, bro. He like takes care of these kids. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, to be able to do that. But I'm telling you, I'm sitting there last night and the thing I was watching is all the other people in the barber shop hearing me tell. I was talking out loud right in front of the lady that owns it now. I'm like, hey, dude, 1,000, like what? They're probably thinking like, could I be your barber, right? but
you inspired all of them to know what's
But here's
possible.
what was cool, man. You know who else was sitting there? My kids.
Yeah.
All my boys, right? I had my 9-year-old, my 13-year-old, and my 16-year-old, and they're sitting there. And I'm saying this to him, and then I'm telling him like, bro, do you realize what you're doing for yourself? You're gonna make the same $1,000, only have to cut once a week. Look all the time you have, and his eyes lit up. The barber's eyes lit up.
Mhm.
And I'm like, so he got to understand the difference of time and money and everything else, right? And he loves our family. We're like family. He drove down there last night. He doesn't work on Wednesdays to cut our hair because we need to get a haircut because I got stuff going on. My point is where I'm going here with this is as you level up.
But real quick,
I don't want to get off it.
This is the last part I want to say about it. That statement is going to disrupt your circle.
Oh, dude. Right now,
as we speak,
yes,
your circle is going to be disrupted because those who aren't on that level will not understand it. They'll be thinking, $1,000? That's a big waste of money.
Yes.
Not understanding.
I just lost 5 friends.
More profitable.
Lost 5.
But they don't understand it's more profitable.
You lost more though, you know why? Because you have a chef.
No, but
you're onto something right now. This is so important.
So we lose friends today by saying it out loud. Somebody doesn't like it.
We seem pompous. You seem conceited. You seem cocky. Bro, I've been asking you every meal that you're getting cooked for you because I'm so fired up. It sounds so awesome. Like, how many people, I mean, I don't know how many even know that's there yet, but that would know. That would actually be like, what'd you have for lunch today? Like, yeah, I'm genuinely excited. You just moved. You made such a big move. And bro, I've probably asked you every day, how are you feeling in the home? I don't even live there, dude. I know that we have plans to I'll be up there and my time will come and everything. I get all that, right? But it's not here today. But every day I can live through your feeling. When you said the freaking vulture was coming at your head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to eat alive. I got so nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I got to stay. Like, you're like, the bird was coming and it's coming out my head and a vulture. And then you're like, I'm sitting up on the porch and I'm starting my day and I'm looking over and everyone's golfing. And I'm like, bro, as you're speaking, I'm visualizing, I'm feeling it. So you start to level up. You're like, you have a true appreciation. When we talk about some of the billionaires that we know or people that we've looked up to, and we talk about just like you see them and you're like, man, like, okay, like I can feel how that's going to be when we get there, but there's no jealousy, disrespect, get mad. Like, you got there first. So you just did this for your wife. Like, no, bro, like once you start to level up and you realize that like how much work that people put in to get what they have and how much sacrifice you actually put in and how far you take it to the line, there's a mutual respect. It's a small ass room. I'm going to tell you, as you keep moving up, it gets smaller. There's a lot of people making 50 grand. There's millions and millions of people, hundreds of millions making 50 grand. There's millions and millions making 100 grand. There's only a few making 250, 500, over $1 million. The circle just gets so tiny. Hey, and then you look at that
500,000, that's the top 1%.
Top 1%. There's very few people doing that. But when you start getting in the millions, like it gets less and less. And then you start to realize like, shoot, dude, like that guy's been through 3 divorces. That guy over there, like for whatever reason, that guy there went through all these lost 3 businesses. One actually worked. That person there had it all, lost it all. And all the stories seem the same when you get up to, everyone's like, but you know what they did? They kept fighting. They kept doing the principles we're teaching you. And then you start to get around and the conversations are shorter. The conversations are more direct. The conversations are different. And it's just, you start to get there and they say it's lonely at the top. We just talked about this a little bit, right? And at times it is until you find a brother and you're like, man, this is cool. But here's the reality. You're farther along than I am. You've made millions. Hold on. Understand this a minute. You've made millions longer than I've made millions. That's the facts. Just stay here. This is the facts, right? But we didn't come and say, hey, what was your paycheck last? Like, you just looked and saw a dude that had the same mental fortitude. Our brains were connected. Sometimes just a few laps behind for whatever reasons of time or the industry, doesn't matter. But dude, I will tell you this, and you can have final word is, someone asked me, why are you doing these podcasts? They literally asked me 2 days ago. We're trying to connect with the people that as we're speaking, like when we look into your eyes, it's the mind. I don't care if you're making 50 grand a year right now, but you got our mind, because I made 50 grand once, babe. And you know what? I got overlooked by everybody. But eventually someone gave me a shot and then I took it over. If you're making 500 grand, you're like, man, I just cannot get to the $1 million. Like, I'm stuck. Like, we want to help you get there. And not just by informational videos, like, bro, get in our ecosystem. Let's grow together. Let's put our brains together. Like, the income level is attached to you not leveling out or being around the right people to pull you out or help lift you up. But I'm telling you, that's what this year, we want to inspire thousands and thousands of people to go take control of their life in whatever area. I don't care what you're good at, but we want to grow your mind, we want to push it, and we want you to push us. We're tired of being all the ones that have to push all the time, right? It ain't about, isn't the Jason and Andre show. Yeah, it's our podcast. We're on something.
It literally is.
It is. Yeah. No, but yeah, no, this is, right? But the reality is, like, what do we want this year? Dude, we're freaking in our low 40s, bro. Like, we have so much time to grow and so much time to get after this and so much time. Like, we want to build that alliance of people that can help us grow as well, and we grow you. That is why we sit here every single day and we give back of our time. And I'm telling you, we know you're out there. I'm looking into the camera. I know you're there. You know why? Because we were two of them that no one would have bet on. Jesus, you ever heard his story? Go back and watch the first one. No one would have bet on him. He was not supposed to be here, right? I had a kid at 17 years old, started very young. That means obviously I was doing stuff about 15 I shouldn't be doing, right? And it wasn't like, but when the world looks and says it shouldn't be you, it's when exactly it should be you. And all we want to do is build an army that will say, you know what? I think the way you think. And then let time and patience do what it's got to do. We'll take you there. That's what the show's about. And today, man, I'm like, you have to level up. This country needs more people to level up. Stop. If you feel different, you are different. If you talk different, you are different. You're supposed to go do something big. We've always been that way, and we know it's inside of you. Let's go rock and roll.
Hey, like and share, comment.
Push your stuff out, man.
All right, go kill it.
Hey, what was that? The hip-hop preacher said one time he was the lowest watched person. Now he's number one motivational speaker in the world. We just wanted to be the number one podcast. Get us up there, bro. Get us up there. All right, we love you guys. Bye.